Introducing Royal Caribbean's newest ship, Icon of the Seas, the ultimate family vacation. The ultimate 6 slides, 8 neighborhoods, 0 compromise vacation. The ultimate never done that, can't wait to do it vacation. The ultimate chillin' by a different pool every day of the week vacation. This is the Icon of vacations. Icon of the Seas, arriving in 2024. Book today. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
Hello again, hockey fans. Are you ready to brave the wild? With me, your host, Paladino Joey. Brave the Wild's available on thesportstuff.com, iTunes, Stitcher, and Double Twist. Great to be back on board to talk about the Minnesota Wild once again today. Well, you've kind of had an up and down type of week, ending positively, starting sloppy, and getting chewed out by their coach, and then finally waking up. I don't know, kind of a mess, but at least the Wild won 3 out of 5. Instead of 4 games, it's 5 games. So 3-2 record in a 5-game stretch. Sorry I wasn't able to record on the weekend. It's just one of those things. I almost should have recorded on Saturday, but it is what it is. I apologize for that. So here we are. We start off. As we start to review 5 games, we'll preview only 2 to wrap up the month of October already, which is insane. Tuesday, October the 18th, the Minnesota Wild hosted the Los Angeles Kings, who were without Jonathan Quick in net, and I figured the Wild would put Darcy Kuemper in net because Bruce Boudreau has been very anal about, hey, we're gonna have more of a rotation with the goalies, not meaning that Dubnyk isn't going to get the majority, because he is. It's just that we're not going to just be Dubnyk forever, which is something I talked about earlier in the season. And yes, Darcy Kuemper did start, and he's had not much success against the LA Kings in his past, particularly his first victory years ago. Just a beautiful effort by Darcy Kuemper. I remember him winning in the shootout. I still remember that about 3 years ago already. That's crazy. Well, he gave up a goal right away to Tanner Pearson, and it's like, oh, here we go again. Devin Dubnyk. Here we go again. Or Devin Dubnyk, pardon me. Darcy Kuemper. We're giving up an early goal. It's like, here comes the floodgates, folks. But luckily for the Wild, the floodgates went in the other direction, because the LA goalie isn't so great either, that being Jeff Zatkoff. Peter Boudic, that's a name we've heard about. He stopped the final 9 shots of the game later on after Zatkoff gave up, that's right, 5 goals to the Minnesota Wild. Gotta love that. Of course, the 6 goals and empty netter, we'll talk about that in a second. But it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Wonderful. Sloppy, but hey, 6 goals is pretty cool. Nice little stat pattern, isn't it? As we open up the scoring here for the Wild, only about, less than a minute later, Erik Haula scores his first goal of the season. This is the third line. Unfortunately, Haula would get injured later on here during the week, so you don't see him anymore. But a newcomer for the Wild that has generated some extreme positivity, and it's got me so excited. Niederreiter and Pominville, literally the whole third line, just kicking butt here. They scored multiple goals in this game. They score again later at the end of the first period to wrap things up with only 12 seconds remaining. Pominville, his first of the year. Haula's first assist. Coyle on the power play. It's been really cool seeing him out there. Suter's still been on the power play, but at least he's generating rebounds, and that's the key. In this case, though, Coyle nailing a power play goal. Second of the year. Koivu got his first goal of the year. Pulkkinen was able to nail one late in the second. That was awesome. The Kings had 2 more on Darcy Kuemper in the third period. And then Jared Spurgeon, after multiple attempts to clear the puck, got it in the net for his first goal of the year. And then he also will miss time, which you think that's doom for the Wild. And in some ways it kind of was. But a fun little game here. This one's like a while ago now, so I don't have a whole lot to say about it, other than it was a fun game. It was a fun game in the scoring side of things. Nice to see that there was a backup goalie there that wasn't really up to the challenge, and the Kings fall to 0-3 at the time. Fun little stat cutter for the Wild, and that's great news. And then the Wild come in to play against Austin Matthews, hosting him. Sellout crowd. Thursday, October the 20th, which ended up being a 3-2 victory for the Wild, getting them up to 3-1, keeping us feeling really good. Scoreless first period. You see, Toronto's definitely Toronto's definitely a lot tighter defense than they used to be in the past. Before, they would just lose games 4-1. They wouldn't score and they wouldn't stop anybody, and it would just continue in that direction. But things definitely improving under Babcock over there in Toronto. Eric Stahl netting 2 goals in this one. Very cool. A 2-goal performance, getting a second and third. One in the mid-third period, one in the mid-second period. Like literally right in the middle there. Top line, of course, really playing well together. Parise pretty much racking up the assists, but can't seem to score, and that is where the frustration for him started, because it was definitely a record for him. The latest he'd ever started a season to get his first goal was the 3rd game of the season. It took till the 5th game for Mr. Parise. Actually, into the 6th game, I apologize. This is the 5th game already against Toronto. Nope, 4th game. I'm going crazy. I apologize. 4th game in this case. You were hoping he'd score against New Jersey, and that wouldn't be the case. This is the 4th game, of course. Zach Dalpe, who's been the 4th-line center, he's putting points up. He's got 3 points already at this stage. First goal of the season from Niederreiter and Brodin in that one. Cool. Parise and Coyle continuing to rack up points along the way as well. Suter's actually leading the team in points at this stage. A 7 in 6 games. Really cool to see him continuing. A good start for the season, at least on the point side of things. Other side we're going to get to, though, against New Jersey, which drew a big ire of Boudreau. Okay, let's just say Boudreau. That sounds better. But hey, like, here we go. We're feeling good. Boy, the coach is really getting these guys to win games. Sure, there's a little sloppiness, but hey, we're winning games. Things are great. And then things get real interesting. Saturday, October the 22nd. Okay, interesting probably wasn't the word for this game, though. Every time the Wild play New Jersey, it's like they always lose, and it's so frustrating. This is in Prudential Center in New Jersey. And there it is, in Newark, New Jersey, that is. Oh, boy. This was one that just drove you crazy. Eriksson Ek gets his NHL debut. They finally cleared up everything with immigration, all that, and now he's with the Wild. He actually had cleared it up the day before or so with the Iowa Wild. Played 1 game with them just to get something going, to get his feet wet, and he scores. How cool is that? Scores with the Iowa Wild, comes to the NHL, first game ever, 4th-line center at that stage, along with Dalpe and Zucker. Not a bad line, actually, to be quite honest. He was playing center, believe it or not, even though you could say Dalpe is a center, too. There was some shuffling going on. Of course, Eric Halla out. Actually, Dalpe went up to 3rd line for that game, which is kind of weird. But there it is. Eriksson Ek, first game ever, 4th-line center, kind of crashes the net and forces the puck in. And it goes in. It's not the prettiest thing you ever saw. A nice little pass again from Zucker from behind. And Dalpe. Eriksson Ek forcing it in. Again, crashing the net, getting the puck past a very good goalie, by the way, who replaced a even better goalie in the past. Corey Schneider doing very well in this one, stopping 28 of 29 shots. The Wild ended up losing 2-1. Devin Dubnyk was admirable the whole game. He shut the Devils out for the longest time, stopping one play after another. And then Parento just kind of basically attacks the net after a turnover and just does a very quick wrister, forces it past Dubnyk, and it's a tie game. And you just kind of knew what was coming after that. 8 minutes remaining, kind of a heartbreaker. You saw the look on Boudreau's face. Not of pissed off, just more of like, here we go. That's great. And then, of course, right away in overtime, the Devils have a breakaway. Suter and Koivu decide to make a switch, which is something you're not supposed to do in that situation. And Bruce, see, there I go again. I needed to say Boudreau. Boudreau definitely went on the attack after this one. Taylor Hall, yep, that's right. Taylor Hall, formerly of the Edmonton Oilers, in that big trade for Larson in the offseason. I wish Taylor Hall was on the Wild, but at least we have Eriksson Ek now, right? Hey, you never know with this guy, how he's going to continue. Certainly not an explosive player is Eriksson Ek, but he just does a lot of good intangible things. And he finds a way to either get the puck in the net or help somebody else get the puck in the net. And that's the goal of hockey. I mean, plain and simple. Put the puck in the net, like ABC, right? ABCD, yeah, you get the idea. But another ABC thing that, again, drew the ire of Boudreau. I got to stop saying Bruce from now on because it's just a tongue twister. Taylor Hall going to the net with Adam Henrique. Koivu was on Henrique. Taylor Hall was being was being guarded, or whatever you want to say, defended by Ryan Suter. Suter switches over to Adam Henrique for whatever reason. Next thing you know, Taylor Hall's open. Suter's kind of flailing at him, and Taylor Hall scores just half a minute into overtime. And that was it. New Jersey gets the 2 points. The Wild got 1. Yay. But the Wild probably should have came out of this thing with 2 in regulation. But it's one of those things. Defensive breakdowns at the strangest time. And that's just Ryan Suter. And you saw this all last season. And it's nice to see Bruce Boudreau not being afraid to call out Suter and Koivu in that play. These are two guys that have done this type of thing forever. Just as good as they are, just little intangible things that turn into huge things that change the whole game and you lose. Boudreau not afraid to call them out, and that's good. It seemed like with Torchetti, when he called him out, they would just kind of just turn against him, which was bullcrap. And Mike Yeo would never call anybody out unless they're a rookie. Oh, he would really call him out then. Oh, you can't do that. This is the NHL. You can't do that. But then he'd never call out Suter. He'd just say he was gassed. Suter was gassed on that play. Again, like I say a million times, Suter should never be gassed, particularly in overtime. That is ridiculous. You got to be smarter than that. The Wild's extra period, they suck in it, and it's been going on forever. Hopefully Boudreau can right that ship once and for all. But it's good to hear Boudreau call out Suter and Kuemper on that play. He said, you're not supposed to switch. You need to just simply stay on your man. And yes, obviously I agree with that. It's quite simple there. Because once you switch, there's confusion. Who's got who? And bada bing, bada boom, New Jersey wins the game on Saturday, October the 22nd. A very disappointing turn of events there. But it looked like, again, the Wild were shutting him out. Dubnyk was playing great. And he deserves a lot of credit considering how well he's been in the net. He did well against Toronto. He did very well against New Jersey. And then last night, Tuesday the 25th, fantastic. We'll get to the New York Islanders game first. I knew Darcy Kuemper would be in net again because it's a back-to-back situation. He's going to go against New Jersey or against the Islanders. Well, maybe it shouldn't have been the Islanders because they're a little bit higher scoring club. And every time we play them, it's like something like this. It's either a crazy 5-4 game or 6-3 or 5-1. It's one of those, so to speak. Sometimes the Wild win in a sloppy goal-scoring fest, or they get destroyed in a semi-goal scoring fest. Luckily, the Wild were able to get 3 goals. Yeah, luckily they were able to get 3 goals in this game. But the Islanders got 6. Isn't that great? So basically, we're the reciprocal of the Los Angeles Kings game. Darcy Kuemper looking like a backup goalie in this game. Yeah, what the hell? And the good part is, again, well, Darcy Kuemper was just Mr. Cliche-ometer at the end of the game. He basically kept saying, just one of those things where the puck went up in the back of the net. It's just, again, another game, and sometimes you try to stop it, sometimes the puck just ends up in the back of the net. Yeah, it's good that you're even keel, but the puck's not supposed to wind up in the back of the net, especially not 6 times. Now, of course, 5 of them were earned. The 6th one was John Tavares, again, sliding the puck down the ice for an open netter, and very simple there. That was his 3rd goal of the season. He scored much earlier. Zach Parise finally ending his drought in the second period. Looked like things were going to be fine when Kuemper was stopping all stopped 11 Islanders shots in the first period. Looked like, okay, cool, Kuemper, sharp. There we go. He'll be better than he was in the Kings game. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. But Parise ended his drought, scored his first goal of the season and his 5th point of the season. So he quietly had been doing very well, actually 4th point at this stage. But and he'd get his 2nd goal. That's Zach Parise for you. So there was his 5th point later on in the second period. A very crazy second period. Again, Parise scoring from Dumba, getting close to the net, finishing on a Dumba shot. Gotta love that. Finally ending the drought, 6th game of the season. Parise getting his 2nd one there. On the second line, Parise moved down to the second line, not as a demotion, because basically top 6 it doesn't really matter. If you're in the top 6, you're still, it's no demotion. Down to the 3rd line, I would consider a demotion. 4th line is an extreme demotion. Granlund, Koivu, Parise, that line did a very good job, and they scored 2 goals in this one, luckily for the Wild. Niederreiter moved up to the top line in Parise's spot on the left side. I guess it's for physical play or something, maybe just to try to change Parise's luck or chemistry, whatever it is. But Ed Parise has played very well with Granlund in the past, and he's got an unbelievable amount of time with Koivu in the past. So it's cool to see Granlund and Koivu together, because obviously Granlund moving to the wing. And they were able to, again, get 2 goals in the game. The top line, the semi-top line, Stahl and Niederreiter scoring much later just to make it 5-3. But other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? I mean, it was one soft goal after another. Tavares, Calvin DeHaan, Johnny Boychuk, Thomas Hickey, and then again Tavares. Alan Queen, that was a really bad one. That was a really bad goal. The Wild were in the game, down 3-2. Things were still hanging in. I mean, things were still very much in doubt after Parise made it 3-2, mid to late in the second period. But then, just terrible. It was a terrible performance by Darcy Kuemper. He got beat time and time again in this one. And after the Thomas Hickey goal, it was just like, get him out of there. But again, the Wild, Boudreau, they just left him in there anyway because, it just was what it was. I mean, Dubnyk needs rest, and that's the whole key. That's why you have Kuemper in there for one. But also, you want to believe that Kuemper can be better than that. Thomas Grease, I keep calling him Grice, but Grease was all right. He was all right. I thought the Wild were going to beat him. I mean, yet another backup because Halak is hurt, and he was bad in his first start. Just a struggle for him. Another backup. It's just crazy how many of these backups we've been running into, other than Corey Schneider, who was awesome with New Jersey. He's a legitimate starter in the league, and he was a backup behind the greatest goalie ever, or second greatest goalie ever, or whatever. But Kuemper, yeah, just lousy. And they were talking about that after the game in the press conference, and Boudreau was simply like, it has to stop. I mean, Darcy Kuemper giving up these soft goals, and so many of them, it has to stop. And he's like, I don't want to throw him under the bus, but it has to stop. And there it is. Boudreau again calling out a player, regardless if they're a veteran, they're young, old, their mental psyche is weak, it's strong. You have to expect more out of these players if you're going to get more. And Bruce Boudreau has been making that point, and that's good. And I really appreciate what he's been doing. And I can see a turnaround coming in a big way. And luckily, the Wild were able to turn things around dramatically. Tuesday, October the 25th. After 2 days off. Oh, yeah. 5-0 victory for the Minnesota Wild over the Boston Bruins. Just an absolute old-fashioned butt-kicking, and it was so much fun. It's sad that Eriksson Ek didn't get a point in the second game of his career, but you can't get a point in every game, right? Coyle, though, has factored in something throughout the way. He got a point. He got an assist in the previous game against the Islanders. Coyle has just been a consistent, strong player for the Wild. The first period, not very eventful. And you had Subban's younger brother in there. Boston only mustering 5 shots on goal. The Wild only 8. It was a boring period, but Dubnyk sharp when he needed to be throughout the entire way, and he deserves a lot of applause. I mean, Dubnyk has been outstanding, and this is how the Wild can become a division leader this season if Dubnyk can keep this up. He stopped all 27 shots by Boston. It wasn't the scariest thing you ever saw, but it certainly wasn't the worst. Malcolm Subban out there was, well, strong in the first period, kind of. He stopped 8 shots, but then the aggression turned on. It's like, okay, it's 0-0, great, that way to clamp things down, but let's put the puck at the back of the net to steal a line from Darcy Kuemper. And Coyle was able to do that, finishing a shot, a turnaround shot. It was a beauty. It was kind of a spinorama from further away, and Subban just wasn't ready for it. It wasn't the classic spin-a-rooney or spin-around wraparound, as they say, from back to the back of the net. He was already in front of the net, but the puck was scooted out there, and he finished it, and it was a beauty. Third goal of the season for Coyle. Man, remember one year? It was like January, December-ish, when Coyle finally got his second goal of the year. It was unbelievable. That was just 2 years ago. Coyle already 3 goals this season, and keep it up, keep them coming. Charlie Coyle, very cool. One of the leaders on this team now. One of these days you're going to see an A. You might even see a C on that jersey. As Coyle showing a little bit of leadership out there along with his strength and just leading by example. He doesn't necessarily need to be the most vocal guy in the world. It's not like Koivu is all the time, even though he can be when he needs to be, and good for him there. Niederreiter has been racking up the points now that he's on that top line with Eric Stahl. And Stahl getting only a second assist in the season because he's been scoring goals. Instead, his 5th point. Coyle just continuing. He's got 6 points already. Strong start to the season for him. Niederreiter, again, I mean, it's like you send Parise down to the second line again, which is still top 6. You bring Niederreiter all the way up to the top line from the third. And, due to injuries and such, because Eric Haula. Eriksson Ek moves up to the third line against the New York Islanders, and again against Boston with Zucker still out. Still no Jared Spurgeon, unfortunately, which last year was just doom. It was doom on a platter for the Wild. Eriksson Ek just, he does so many intangible things. He's good in the wall. He knocks the puck away. He wraps people up. He just took the puck away and floated it out to Zucker and then over to Stewart, and he finished it. It was just a beautiful thing, and I was so happy. That third line, because Zucker's on it now, it's been strong. These guys have done a good job together. Chris Stewart, Eriksson Ek, and Zucker. Really strong in this game. They account for 2 goals. Suter ultimately was able to get an assist in the other one rather than Stewart, but that's okay. Stewart getting his 2nd goal of the season. He's got 4 points already, which is really crazy for a guy who only had 20 last year and like 20 the year before. Nice to see the former 2nd-round pick of the Colorado Avalanche really stepping up. It's nice to see. But Ek, again, just doing intangible things and setting Zucker up to set up Stewart. It was awesome. Really appreciate what you see out of Ek. He just he puts the puck to the right guy who can set up the goal scorer, and fantastic. Good play again. Good pass by Zucker, who's showing more ability than just scoring goals. He's also able to set people up as well. Zucker with 2 points in this one. Suter on the power play, able to power it past, believe it or not, or just kind of get it past Subban. It wasn't the most powerful shot ever, but it was quick, and that's the key with Suter. More of a quickness. Granlund and Dumba assisting there. And again, those are 2 guys you love to see on the power play. Because Dumba's powerful shot, his goal, he didn't get a goal in this one, but still factoring in on the goal at least. Granlund also as well. Nice to see those guys on the power play with Suter instead of just the classic Koivu, Parise, and, Pominville. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be doing a whole lot of power play time anymore, though he does once in a while. Eriksson Ek just sliding it out after Suter basically had the puck to Eriksson Ek in a sense. Eriksson Ek had to fight for it, earned it, scooted it out to Zucker, who finished his 1st goal of the season. Ek it was the prettiest little thing. It was a scramble for the puck, and Ek just able to just tip it out. Just a beautiful play to Zucker, and 3 points for Eriksson Ek, or 4 points actually, for Eriksson Ek along the way, as he was able to get his 3rd assist to Jason Pominville late in the 3rd period to make it 5-0. Ek with 3 points in this game, 3 assists. He's got 4 points in 3 games already. Boy, he might be one of the Rookies of the Year candidate already, and it's absolutely fantastic. Zucker with his 4th assist along the way with Pominville as well. Pominville playing with Ek and Zucker. I get these lines mixed up, but then again, they get shuffled all the time during the game. Pominville playing with Ek and Tucker. Zucker, I just called him Tucker, sorry. Ek and Zucker on the 3rd line in that case, getting his 2nd goal of the season. So nice to see Pominville factoring in a 5-goal performance. No empty netters needed, of course, because it was such a blowout. The Wild thoroughly romped on this Boston Bruins team. They were stopping shots, they were finishing, and Dubnyk was strong, just very strong along the way, especially in that 2nd period when the game was still very much in doubt. And Boston had multiple chances in that period, but Dubnyk has been fantastic so far this season. I'm very, very pleased. Other than the St. Louis game, where Dubnyk was nothing special, he's been very strong after that, ever since then, and I couldn't be happier with Dubnyk so far this season. His goals against average is only about 2 goals a game so far. He has really stepped it up compared to last season. I mean, okay, sure, he started fairly well last year. Save percentage about 93. He's already got a shutout on the year. Wonderful. 2.01 goals against average for Devan Dubnyk thus far. Great news for the Wild, and hopefully he can keep that up. Keep it to maybe 2.2 tops. Well, that would be really, really something if he was able to keep it that low. Coyle's got 5 points on the season. I get them all mixed up. Zucker's got 5 points, 4 assists already. Just wonderful. Great to see. Lots of guys with 5s. Zach Parise even has 5. He was kind of the leading scorer coming in, but then Studer adding a couple assists to take over, and then Zucker and others catching up. I mean, even Brodin has 4 points on the season, but Joel Eriksson, 4 points on the season. How cool is that? That is just freaking cool. Eriksson, 4 points in 3 games. Fun. Nice to see the Wild step up and respond to a pissed-off head coach, Boudreau. That's what it's all about right there. I mean, you got to stay tough. You got to do intangibles. You got to use common sense. And look what happens. You go out there and kick some butt. No Tuukka Rask in net? Sure, just go ahead, take advantage of it. Subban did not play well in his first game, was not good in his first game in the net a year ago. Take advantage of it, and the Wild did. There it is, 5 goals, but then on the other side, 0 goals allowed. Just against a still pretty good Boston team who's had their ups and downs the past year or two. Maybe their coach is going to be in trouble as things kind of starting to snowball there. They're 500 to start out the season at 3-3. Kind of is what it is. I kind of like the Bruins because I like everything about Boston sports. You know, I like all of them. I've mentioned that in the past on this show and others. But, yeah, I'm so glad that Boudreau was kind of in trouble at the end of last year for no real good reason other than not getting past the National Predators, I suppose. There it is. There it is. Respond to this big coach, this big name coach who knows what he's talking about, and there's your result. You just go out there and stomp somebody on the road. Great. The Wild's success rate against Boston has been kind of everywhere. The last time the Wild played the Boston Bruins, they didn't even show up to play. They lost 3-1 at home in a snooze fest, and Mike Yeo knew his fate in that game. You saw it on his face. In the press conference, he looked like he'd been shot. I mean, it was, yeah, he was done, and he knew he was done. He had tears in his eyes. He knew it was over. At least he knew it was about a 90% chance it was over, and quite a storyteller when you see the situation here when Boudreau took the reins of this team, and then you beat the Bruins on the road instead of at home, 5-0. There it is. That pretty much sums it up. So a fun 5 games, kind of. The New York game was disgusting. The New Jersey game was good, but the mistake late was just the same old garbage we've seen the last few years from Studer. He's a good player, but once in a while he does things that just make you want to puke. And there it was again. Along with Kuemper, 2 guys that know what they're doing. They're captains. They've been very successful in this league for many years, and they make plays like that just make you cringe. You just can't believe what you're seeing. And I don't think Boudreau could believe it either. So there it was. 4-2 record for the Wild. Hanging on right now. They would be in the playoffs today, which is nice to know. It's always a good thing. First place in the Central Division, actually, believe it or not, with a tie. But first place in the Central Division. That's where we'd like to be. But at least let's get to third. Let's at least get to third. Let's stay out of that wild card crap if we could. I would just be very happy if the Wild were able to stay the heck out of that. That would be good news. So let's test out the awards for the week. The Mike Modano Award for the week, at least since the last show. It's been about a week, a little longer. Joel Eriksson, man, I mean, 4 points in his first 3 games in the NHL and showing the intangibles that you're dying to see. And this team, you've seen a wave of young players come in here and there. Now you got another wave. I mean, you saw the Zuckers, the Coyles, the Brodins, the Niederreiters, and the Granlund, of course, come in, and they provided a spark. But it's like you never got a vibe like, here it is. This guy is gonna. This is a big possibility here. This guy might end up really being good. You're seeing 40-point seasons out of the Niederreiters, the Coyles, and Granlund so far. 40, maybe 50 if you're lucky. Eric Hall is another one who was kind of a surprise at the 7th round. You wish Gravelock could be that, but he hasn't been. We'll talk about him in the second segment. But now you have a guy in Eriksson who, he's not Gaborik-like. He's not explosive. He's not going to go out there and score 40 goals necessarily. But he does a lot of things that make you smile. And he's helping. He's either putting the puck in net himself with that physical. He's a strong physical player who just has a lot of intelligence to his game. He's good with the stick. He's attacking where he needs to. This guy, to me, is going to stay in the NHL from here on. If they send him back to juniors, they're making a terrible mistake to juniors, to Europe, pardon me. That would be a terrible mistake back to Sweden. Terrible. Joel Eriksson should stay in the NHL, provided some type of huge, slump that takes over, because, rookie slump, so to speak, that takes over. Rookie wall. Wow. He gets to the puck. He's not afraid to get dirty, as they say, and he sets people up when he needs to. And you know he's going to have a scoring knack as he continues to get better and better, stronger, more confident. Gotta love what Eriksson is doing out there. He absolutely deserves it. I'm going to give a Mike Modano award to Charlie Coyle, who continues to show up every night. Every single night, Charlie Coyle shows up, and he has been wonderful. Suter's got 7 points, but there's no way he's going to get it. It's nice that he's putting the points on the board. That's good. That's wonderful. But you see mistakes out of the guy on occasion, and that one that helped cost us the game. There's no way he's going to get a Mike O'Donnell award. But good on him for leading the team in scoring in the first 7 games. I'm getting my math all screwed up. Pardon me for that when I was saying 6 games. It's 7 already. Wow, that went fast. Good job, though, for Ryan Suter. He's on a pace for 82 points. The odds of that happening slim, but maybe he'll get 60 if this team continues to play strong, and that's wonderful to see. Coyle and Ek, though. Eriksson Ek. Coyle providing leadership, consistency, and Eriksson Ek showing this team that he belongs in this league, doing, again, intangible plays that any NHL coach would love from a 19-year-old. Just, how can you not love the guy? Keep it up, Joel Eriksson Ek. Great job. Great job. The James Stepper Memorial is definitely going to go to Darcy Kuemper. I mean, he stinks so far. 4 goals against average so far. Save percentage, 87, and it looked worse than that. I mean, it's just giving up softies, putting your team behind the 8 ball. I mean, you know, when you're down 5-3, 5-2 on the road like that, you're screwed. You're absolutely screwed against a high-scoring team like the New York Islanders, and that's what Kuemper did. Luckily, well, he gave up 3 goals against LA, but luckily we were up to the task that night because the Kings not up to the task in net on the other side. The Kings seem to be, I'm beginning to think their ship has sailed. They got their 2 Stanley Cups, and it was fantastic. I think their ship has sailed. This is probably it for them. I think they're going to take their 2 Stanley Cups, and the next time they win a Stanley Cup, it'll be with a completely different group of players. Maybe at the end of Jonathan Quick's career, maybe much later. I'm not sure, but I think it's over for that particular group of LA Kings, including Marian Gaborik, who, talk about his ship sailed. That thing, you can't even see the ship anymore. It's out in the middle of the ocean now. Sorry, Marian, but yeah. His ship has sailed. He's been hurt too many times, and talk about damaged goods. It's like there's just nothing left for that guy anymore. He was just almost a nobody, almost a ghost last season. Speaking of Halloween, almost a ghost last season for the Kings after an MVP-like playoff performance the year before. Fun rebound last night after a couple of frustrating losses. And the Wild come out of it leading the Central Division, believe it or not, which is funny. It's nice to be in first place in October. Let's try to stay at least close to first place the rest of the way. That would be just absolutely awesome. I would be dancing. I'd be so freaking happy. So there you go. We'll be back to preview just a couple games to wrap up the month of October. Check in on the Iowa Wild. A teeny tiny bit of fan interaction on Facebook. And we'll wrap things up. The Wild, segment number 2, some previews, Iowa Wild checkup, and fan interaction. Fun little segment coming up for you right here, right now. Thursday, October the 27th, the Minnesota Wild head to Buffalo, New York to play the Buffalo Sabres, a team we've had much success against in the past. And, of course, last year when you saw the Wild lose to the Buffalo Sabres, you knew Mike Yeo was screwed. So thank you, Buffalo, I guess, for kind of helping push that through. get it over with, I guess. Isn't that mean to say? Just terrible. Buffalo Sabres back to not playing so well so far this season. They're down in the dumps, unfortunately for them. Stuck in last place after 5 games, so they haven't had as many as somebody else out there. Only 4 points on the season. 2 overtime losses have been snake bit of late. 1 and 2 in regulation. Robin Lehner, who's most likely going to be a net against the Wild, is giving up about 3 goals a game. Save percentage 89. Anders Nielsen, who's given up a little bit less and a much stronger save percentage. He faced a lot of shots in the single game he played, but again lost in overtime for him. Well, maybe that's who we'll say. Shoot, hopefully not, because he did a heck of a job, actually. To be quite honest, those are good numbers for him. Along the way, he stopped 38 of 41 shots in that single game that they lost. Ryan O'Reilly leading the Buffalo Sabres in scoring thus far. Kyle Oposo tied for second on the team in scoring with Matt Molson. Ha! Matt Molson. That's rich, isn't it? God, Matt Molson. Well, 4 points for him in 6 games. I mean, good on him, I guess. I mean, yay. Glad to see Matt Molson doing a little better. The guy we traded away a while ago. Where is he? Johan Larsson. I just saw him. There he is. 2 points so far in 5 games. So good for him, I guess. I don't know. I don't miss him too much, I suppose. Not the worst trade ever. Well, no, it was a bad trade. It was for Matt Molson. But whatever. That was actually the Pominville trade, pardon me. Certainly hasn't been what a lot of people thought. A second-round pick for the Wild. There's been quite a few for Fletcher that haven't done a whole lot. But luckily there have been other pieces along the way that have shown up a bit later rounds. And, of course, most of the first-round picks have been at least adequate. You know, you don't have the Colton Gillies, Tyler Kumas, and A.J. Thielen. Okay, I'll stay off that rant for now. The Wild should win this game. Hudson Fasching's the other one. That's who I was thinking about. The former Gopher. He's only been in 3 games so far, -1 on the season, no points whatsoever. Nice little prospect for the Buffalo Sabres. Wouldn't mind having him with the Wild, but I remember he scored in his first game like Eriksson Ek. So far this year, nothing going. Watch him score against the Wild, though. Just watch. That's probably what is going to happen. Or like a Kyle Oposo, who the Wild would have liked to have gotten, but wanted way too much money. Just like the other guy that wasn't available last night. That being David Backes, unavailable last night, and that's another reason why you probably don't want to give David Backes a whole lot of money because, well, where was he? You know, they could have used him last night, couldn't they? You know, defense, leadership, physical play. Kind of hard to do that when you're not on the ice. You know, not on the ice. Not good. The Wild should be able to beat the Buffalo Sabres, I think, with the momentum. They hopefully are going to be carrying from the Boston Bruins game just 2 days later against the Buffalo Sabres. I think the Wild should be able to win that game. Dubnyk, I don't know. Do you want to risk putting Kuemper in net? I suppose if you're going to put Kuemper in net, I'd rather see him against Buffalo than against Dallas, even though the Dallas game is at home. I mean, the Dallas Stars, I don't really want to mess with that. I'm scared to death. So far, the Wild tied with St. Louis, leading the division with 9 points. Dallas, of course, and Chicago breathing down our back. Big surprise there. Down our neck, whatever the word is. If you're going to start Kuemper, I guess put him in against Buffalo. Boy, I'm so scared. Buffalo, well, I mean, they do score. I mean, you got multiple guys at 6, you got guys at 4 points, stuff like that. 4 goals on the season for Matt Molson. I just can't believe it. No assists, 4 goals. He's leading the team in goals. Ryan O'Reilly scares me as well. He's been a valuable player for them. Buffalo Sabres eventually are going to kind of break loose. You got Tyler Ennis, who's got a really nice future in this league, along with other prospects that are going to be coming in. Johan Larsson not being one of them, right? Barring some type of shocker. And, of course, the big free agent in Kyle Posto. But the Wild should be able to win this one. I'm going to predict a 3-1 victory for the Wild in this game. I wouldn't be surprised if, well, Joel Eriksson Ek. Should I say it? Yeah, Joel Eriksson Ek is going to get his second goal of the season against the Buffalo Sabres. The most likely guy to score for the Wild will be Joel Eriksson Ek. How about that? Is that okay to say? With the run he's been on, why not? Why not? I'm going to say he's going to be the guy to score, the most likely guy. I know, it's just shots in the dark. It's just a fun little bit, I guess. It's just to see if I'll be right. I missed Zach Parise's first goal by 1 game. Bummer. Almost, right? Almost. Dallas Stars, though. Division rival, we know. The team that left us because Norm Green's a bastard. They are 3-2 on the season, 7 points, and tied for third, I guess, with Chicago. Yeah, it is what it is, only because Minnesota and St. Louis are tied for first, that type of thing. Dallas Stars, a team that a lot of people could see winning the Western Conference, at least getting the conference finals against Chicago, against St. Louis, against Minnesota. No, that would be pretty cool. And hopefully the Wild would win that, but that'd be a tough one, though, to be quite honest. I'd be a little worried. Dallas Stars, boy. How did the Wild fare in this one? This is again Saturday, October the 29th, to wrap up the month. So far, leading the way for the Dallas Stars is Devin Shore. Devin Shore with one goal, 5 assists. Tyler Seguin and Jamie Benn still leading the way. Luckily for them, neither one of them injured, because it seems like one of them is out all the time. Oh, boy. Jamie Benn has just been a star in this league. He's continuing to emerge for this team. Luckily, the Stars not up to the greatest start ever, but, it's still possible. Kerry Lettinen playing better so far. He's been good in that to start the season, though. Don't get too excited about it. He's mediocre. Ante Niemi's been nothing special. If he's in net, I predict the Wild would win that one. Kerry Lettinen, it's a little bit tougher. The Wild have not had a whole lot of success against him. He's averaging more than a goal a game less than Niemi at this stage. 3 games for Niemi, 4 games for Kerry Lettinen. Lettinen actually had to get replaced in one game, if you can believe it, and Niemi did not help matters at all. That's good. Good. You like to see the Stars lose. All the players still there. All the same names. No big losses. Patrick Sharp is still there. Not really factoring in the scoring, but he's physical and a pain in the ass. Devin Shore, though, that's a guy who's definitely emerged of late. He was a second-round pick in 2012. He's stepping it up. But another prospect for the Stars who only played 3 games last year, and now here he comes. He's on the scene, and now they have 3. I don't know if he's as good as Ben and Seguin, but boy, how will the Stars fare? How will the Wild fare against the Dallas Stars? Can they get it done? Can the Wild go 2-0 in this mini little stretch here? I say yes. I think the Wild can beat the Stars, and I hope they do, in good faith. I'll say Zach Parise will score a goal against the Stars, most likely. I think, Devin Dubnyk is going to be in net for this one. I think there's a 100% chance. If you see Darcy Kuemper against the Stars, I don't know. I think that's a horrible mistake. No way. Devin Dubnyk, I think, will continue the momentum he's been on. And it's going to be a 4-2 victory for the Wild. I have a feeling they're going to put Niemi in there. I just have that funny feeling. But even if they don't, I think the Wild find a way to score in this one. 3-2 type of thing. And then an empty netter to wrap things up, 4-2 type of thing. Somebody like a Suter, if Jared Spurgeon comes back, somebody like that, Brodin, somebody will get an empty netter, maybe a Pominville skating down. You get the idea. Same old, you could just make up a name, couldn't you, for the most part. I like the Wild's chances right now. I'm really excited about the momentum from that Boston game. I mean, that's a great sign. That's why I have the Wild only giving up 3 goals in the 2 games. Even if Darcy Kuemper's in net against Buffalo, I think he will respond, and I think the Wild will not hurt Kuemper. They won't be giving up breaks against the Buffalo Sabres and the Stars. Not after the best start ever. It's just unfortunate, though. Now they have 3 Stars to lead the way. That's the scary part. But I still think the Wild will win 4-2, believe it or not, with Devin Dubnyk standing on his head the way he has been so far this year. He'll give up 2 goals to the Dallas Stars in this one. Maybe Shore's taking, whatever it is. Maybe somebody crazy like Patrick Sharp will get his first goal this season. Whatever it is, I think the Wild will continue the momentum, and they'll win both of these games and stay in first place. How about that? They'll have 13 points in 9 games. That's awesome. That would be fantastic if the Wild were able to do that. Bruce Boudreau is all about, he's been all about winning division championships. I'm not necessarily predicting the Wild to do that, but to be in the mix for it, absolutely. And there's no reason this team shouldn't be in the mix for it. They shouldn't be a division leader. Like a lot of people coming in saying, "Oh no, the Wild are going to be the 8th seed." Why is that though? Why would they be the 8th seed? They underachieved last year, dramatically underachieved, and they quit on their coach. Parise was injured. The Dubnyk was not playing well. Brodin was kind of invisible, even though his defense is good. There was no offensive production whatsoever. Zucker was terrible. Halla wasn't good for the first half of the season, and then he took off. Granlund was absolutely invisible the first half of the season, and he took off. See, it's stuff like that. That's a lot of things to add, and now you got Eriksson Ek. I mean, why shouldn't the Wild be better this year? Why shouldn't they be? At least third place, man. I mean, why shouldn't the Wild be up there with the Chicago, Dallas, St. Louis's? Why shouldn't they be at least competing with them? Why should the Wild be worse than Nashville, Colorado, Winnipeg? Why should they be? Why should they be worse than one of them? Or all of them? That would be really bad. I think the Wild should be in the mix this season, and that would be great. Maybe you could see Dallas be one of the wild cards of Chicago. Not that that would mean a whole lot if Chicago was a wild card team, because you know how they are. They, regular season for show and playoff for dough. Hopefully the Wild can do both. That would be great. It'd be about freaking time, actually. So let's check in on the Iowa Wild. How about those guys? How are they doing down there, eh? You got so many new prospects down there. Alex Tuch with 3 assists in 6 games. That's decent. Sam Anas has not played the last 3, unfortunately, with injury. Again, Eriksson Ek scoring a goal at his first game. Mike Riley's been up and down. Unfortunately, he's down there again. 2 games, 1 assist so far for him. Grayevac is a red flag here. He did get a goal. That's good, so at least he scored a goal. But he's a -10, which is worst on the team. -10 in only 5 games for Tyler Grayevac. The team continues to stink down there, and that's frustrating. Alex Stalock is not off to a good start down there. He's 1-4 in the season, 4.28 goals against average. Man, oh man, oh man. And even Stephen Mahalik is not much better. He hasn't been much better, really, to be quite honest. Stalock has been getting most of the starts, and he's not been good. And it's very disappointing for me, and I'm sure others as well. Gustav Olsson still stuck at the 1 goal in 6 games. Been quiet ever since, but at least nothing. I mean, the defense hasn't been good. The goaltending, not so good. Iowa Wild still suck right now, and that's a shame. They're 1-4-1 so far on the season. That's too bad. Oh, 2-4 on the season. There's no 1. Pardon me. Jordan Schrader emerged after doing nothing. He's got a goal and 2 assists in just the last week, so that's nice. Adam Gilmore is still kind of one of the leaders down there. And Mario Lucia back in the mix after missing the first 2 games. He's got a goal and 2 assists in 4. That's good to see, but nobody's really standing out yet. It's just nice to see Tuck kind of putting a couple in there. And on a team when you have guys -10, -7, -3, -5, to see Alex Tuch a +1, that's really encouraging, actually. The fact that he only has 3 assists along the way, and Mario Lucia also a +1. That's wonderful to see. Very encouraging for that. That's the most encouraging thing right now for me. Schrader's a -5, despite producing a little bit more this past week. So stuff like that. Encouraging signs here and there, but still a team that's really struggling down there despite some nice young prospects along the way. That's the frustrating side of things with the Iowa Wild. With a 2-4 record, still kind of screwing around, but maybe they're still within reach of turning the whole season around. You never know. Mario Lucia may really step up. He may be closer to the NHL than people think. It's nice to see him producing down there in the AHL. Very, very encouraging for me, to be quite honest with you. Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play, right? When it comes to the Iowa Wild. For the Facebook page, it is facebook.com/Brave the Wild, facebook.com/Brave the Wild. For the Twitter account, @Brave the Wild. All of this will be in the show description. There is a phone line. It is 209-736-7877, 209-736-7877. It is a voicemail. Do treat it as such. Mention you're calling it for Brave the Wild. Do your statement, shout out, comment, question, all the above, and it'll be very much welcomed on board. The show, I gave you the phone number. That'll also be in the description. There's multiple ways to get your voice on the show. There's the Call Now button on the Facebook page. So it connects to the phone number via Facebook Messenger, which could work for internationals out there, Australia. When you have Benny Allen out there, you have maybe Tanae Brown will call it. Who knows? Anybody. It could be anybody, somebody from Canada, whatever it is, somebody from Minnesota, maybe Drew Bunting over there in Northern Cal, the San Jose Sharks fan, and our buddy, a fellow Viking fan with Sebastian Balls. Somebody should call in. It'd be very much welcome on board. The Call Now button, I just mentioned that. There's also the audio submission route. send a audio submission from your cell phone by using a voice recorder to paladinolive@yahoo.com, paladinolive@yahoo.com. So on to the Facebook page. Looking around here, mostly likes, and then there's a couple comments when I talked about the Boston game. Actually, it's Drew Bunting. When I was talking about the whipping the Wild put on the Boston Bruins and how excited I am about Eriksson Ek and how they're responding to Bruce Boudreau once and for all. Drew Bunting saying, pretty dominating win. I would say I was impressed by the team defense. We here in San Jose congratulate you. Looking forward to our matchup. And I was saying how thank you very much for that. And really excited about Eriksson Ek. But for the Sharks, we always lose to them. And Drew saying we got some problems of our own, but we've also played a really rough schedule thus far. But my Sharks will be a tough out this season, barring major injuries. Like my Vikings. Yep, and our Vikings, by the way. It's been great to see. Why can't this lower? There we go. It's been great. Where was I? Yeah, I hate when I lose my... It's great to see the Wild finally putting some pucks in the net. Yeah, I've always said when this team starts getting secondary scoring, they will finally put themselves over the top. So far, so good for Boudreau and your boys, and thank you very much. And yes, that's the thing. You're having a guy like Eriksson Ek, kind of unexpected, nice and early start to his career, very productive start to his career. And then, of course, Erik Haula when he's healthy. It'll be nice to have him back. Spurgeon's been missing the last few games. But you're seeing production out of guys you didn't last year. Brodin's already got 4 points. How about that? 4 points already for Brodin. Chris Stewart has been a nice, steady veteran for the Wild. He's really been strong, and that's great. He's got 4 points. Pominville has 2 goals already. Zucker has 5 points. That's why I keep saying the Wild should be better this year versus last year. That's why I'm not talking about the 8th seed. I'm talking more 3, 4, 5-ish. I think that's very possible. And if anything better than that would be pretty awesome. Unexpected, but freaking awesome. And let's take advantage of it and go all the way if that happens. I don't know if we're up for that, but who knows? Somebody like Kuemper needs to step up just a little bit. But guys like Suter Koivu, cut out with the stupid little errors at the weirdest times. Just strange little mental lapses. And this team could be very good. There's a reason why the Wild they almost beat the Blackhawks a couple years ago, and they rolled past St. Louis. And it's just the way things snowballed against Chicago the next year. That 4-0 sweep after such a promising convincing series victory over the St. Louis Blues. That was strange. It shattered a lot of our confidence. But now I think this team could make some type of run if the guys continue to listen to Boudreau and don't start pouting or whatever the heck is, and pray to God less and less injuries along the way. So that's about it. No Twitter interactions. I would appreciate if you would give that a follow at Brave the Wild, and then Facebook, please like the page. It would be greatly appreciated. And again, the call-ins. Please rate Brave the Wild on iTunes or Stitcher. Please do. It's been a while since there's been any ratings on there. People are just quiet. I know people don't want to make the time to do it, and I don't blame you. It's not hard to do. It's just I understand maybe you're thinking about doing it and then you forgot because you had to vacuum the floor or do dishes. Just little things like that, and you can easily forget because I understand it's not a high priority in your life, but if you could do it, it'd be so appreciated. This show really could use some positive ratings, and not because it's all negative on there, but because it just needs a little life. It needs more life. Because the more new reviews on there, the more positive this show looks to potential new listeners out there. Because there's more, there's other shows out there. Please stick with this one, though. It'd be greatly appreciated. So thanks again for listening. Tell your friends about the show, if you could. And have a nice week and go Wild into November. Oh, one final thing. I was just about to stop everything here. Is I do have lawn cleanups coming up now because it's November. And gosh, I almost stopped. That was funny. I was about to stop this, but nope. So there may be a delay in the next show. We'll see. I'm going to do the best I can. There's always rainy days, and that's how I can sneak the show in during the month of November, maybe a weekend, stuff like that. But I'll do the best I can to keep up. But if there is a delay, that's why, because of lawn cleanup. Sometimes I don't even mention that because, yes, they have a second job. It's yard work, stuff, with my brother. So it is what it is. It's his business. I'm a contractor with him, that type of thing. So if I disappear for 2-3 weeks, that's why. Hopefully that's not the case. All right, everybody, have a nice month of November. Nice finish up. Happy Halloween to all of you. Almost forgot to say that too. Stay safe, be smart, use common sense, all that good stuff. Enjoy, and we'll talk to you soon.